I know, F major. You an F major, dog. Cool. En nou to the kitchen. Allee, naar de keuken. Oh, yeah, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, do you recognize the feeling that when you're listening to music that you think like, what does the music actually mean? Why we feel what we are feeling? I hope I can give you some handles in this, and today we're going to have a look at Bach's unbelievable prelude in E flat minor of his first book of the Well-Tempered Clavier. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Notes. So welcome everyone, my name is Wim Winters. I play the clavichord, as you see, the organ, pianoforte. We do a lot of music here on this channel, particularly also studying tempo reconstruction with music that has been metronomized. Very far from Bach, but if you love Beethoven, you want to check out our upcoming release of all the Beethoven symphonies in Holbeat. But today we're going to dive into this beautiful piece by Bach, the Prelude in E flat minor. What does this piece mean? E flat minor is definitely not a joyful key. And this piece in particular, it's like very sad, but it's sadness on the level of seriousness. That are two persons that listen to each other, that are not afraid of putting themselves in a kind of vulnerable position. They accept that from each other. They trust each other. And all of that leads to a very civilized, intimate conversation. So the recording I'm gonna feature, and already you heard fragments of that at the beginning, is obviously my own recording of the WTC. 3 CDs in a beautiful box. You can also check this one out. But enough about this. We're going to dive in fragment number 1, which is bar 1 to 10. The piece starts with just a recognition of the key of E flat minor. The B flat here is the beginning of the piece. Starts here. And it's the first person, I would say. It's the main character of the piece that starts to bring his story or her story, whatever you want. In this high pitch, I would assume that's a her. We hear an ascending sixth. Every time you hear an ascending sixth in Baroque music, it's like a cry from humanity, from us to the higher being, God in that sense, in that time especially. The second person is the accompaniment, but the accompaniment here is not just accompaniment. It also gives, of course, the time, the accents of this piece, which is a kind of sarabande. A little accent on 2, and then starts. Ascending sixth followed by descending fifth. Again. Higher. Diminished 7. Interval of pain. Also Bach, he stays here at the upper part of the keyboard. There's no bass here, there's no foundation. The whole message hangs in the air. And then we go in bar 4, we switch that. The left hand, person number 2 you could say, that person becomes more active. Opening. It's very beautiful. You go from E flat minor to this. So, big emotions in music not necessarily have to go hand in hand with big harmonic changes. Beethoven was also an unbelievable genius in that, but Bach as well. Very sad. And then with this B flat in the bass, it is like sky is opening. And what's happening here is that the second person, actually he doesn't reply, but he says to her, let's say he and her, I'm here for you, I'm listening. So once we had this opening, we enter not a really new phase, but it comes a first development. All of this interaction between person number one and person number two comes to a kind of first, I would say, a little conclusion, a small conclusion. It's definitely not a definitive conclusion, and all culminates in bar 13. Bar 12, we have still the right hand is discussing, is sharing her story, and suddenly we go down, one octave down, in an ornamented way. It's here. And the left hand, these slow chords, they give this ongoing feeling. So you come here, and then you start with G flat. This is an unbelievable moment. It's like a liberating moment, as if it were like you go down, you could say like, okay, I'm going down, 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 and then what will happen now is one of the most painful but yet most beautiful moments. Listen what happens here. This is almost impressionistic. Here. Coming from the... And then going back to the G flat upstairs, like as if person number one said, oh my God, what did I should never have left. Okay, we'll go back. And now we prepare the cadence. Because we have had a first moment of like, this is what I really want to share with you. And you come together, the two persons are very intimate. And then we come to a conclusion, but what kind of conclusion? Okay, let's listen to this. And then the story goes on. In bar 20, we have a kind of first ending. The introduction, if we can still speak from an introduction, because so much has happened, came to an end, and Bach introduces something new. And what is that? Diminished fifths and fifths in general. And where this leads us to, you will see soon enough. First this. So, descending fifths, very much like we said at the beginning, it's not very pleasant, it's very sad, it's like desperation almost. We are reaching out for the high power, for heaven, and we want to pull it down, like really that's what it is. And the diminished fifths, the diminished intervals really emphasize, illustrates this pain. You know, these paintings or these drawings from the 18th century with all facial expressions, you should Google that. It's actually very fascinating. Also to learn that a lot of these emotions we apparently somehow lost a little bit. I mean, when is the last time you cried in public? In those days that was seen as like a sign of civilization, so expressing your emotions. Maybe we don't cry with it anymore, but we still feel that. I mean, we didn't change as human beings, right? And one of the other most beautiful moments in the history of music is this. I don't know if you feel the same thing as I'm feeling now, but pain in this sense, it's almost beautiful. Like you come here to two notes, G flat and the bass, E flat minor still. But then the G flat, which is really determinative in E flat minor, right, becomes an E natural. Again, one note. And on top of that, we don't have really E flat major, we have E flat major 7th, like the dominant 7th, because the D flat comes in. It's a huge question mark. At the same time, this positive feeling, the bass, the person number 2 was listening, said, okay, I'm coming in your direction. Even participating in the story on that moment. And what it does is like, person number 1 says, okay, with this input, with this impulse, I feel again liberated. Remember bar 13, we had this? Now we have this. And what happens is, instead of diminishing fifths, we are going to go higher and higher and higher again, like this. I mean, what a line! After all these depressing things like... And there's a sarabanda rhythm again. And then... I mean, I could analyze this chord, but just... The important thing is like, listen to the power of statement. And there, solo. You feel the climax coming. Up, up, and then really up. Diminished fifth of the beginning, remember that? Now reverse, it's an ascending diminished 7th. And then diminished, what is it? And after that, you would say the piece is over, or we come to a conclusion, but not yet, not yet. What happens is, this story has been told. Let's face it, we have made our point, right? And what do we do with all this tension, with all this energy? Like a normal cadence? No. The 6th scale degree, do you say that like that? C flat in the bass. The sarabanda rhythm comes back. Again, the storytelling. But there is something changed here. And then. And what note is this? I mean, come on. The F flat. Yeah, I mean, it's what kind of, who does that? Like. I mean, that doesn't sound like very happy, right? Sorry. And then F natural, but F natural doesn't release the tension, it adds to the tension. And there on this pinnacle of tension, it's this like climax of tension. The right hand, person number 1, becomes person number 2. With the same sarabanda rhythm, I call it sarabanda rhythm. And harmonically nothing happens. And the left hand, person number 2, takes now the story, takes now the lead in the story. And the story isn't very funny, isn't very happy. It goes down. For 3 bars, 4 bars almost, harmonically nothing happens. And this standing still, listen. Very deep D natural, leading to, we're not there yet here. The standing still harmonically is, Bach takes us as a listener outside of time. Because if in harmony stands still for so long time, you don't have any real regular tempo feeling anymore, it's all flat. What happens on this moment, unbelievable moment of tension where person number 2 acknowledges the message of person number 1, and then comes a cry of pain. And again there, like we would expect, over. No, not with Bach, not with Bach. There is too much. There has been too much said, like it's this chord that will be like the upbeat, so to say, the upstep for the coda, with the D flat, of course. And this is just the ending. You can feel here in this passage. And comes the ending. I'll leave that for the fragments. You have there a culmination of human pain, everything we can have, and like it resolves in, of course, E flat major. That's the thing with Bach. It's so similar to Beethoven. He brings us home. And so the great thing about music, especially unbelievable music like this of Bach, is that it communicates these feelings directly to us, directly to our hearts, to our souls. We don't need words. We have the feeling even that we do not even have to use our brain to really process those feelings, to feel what the composer had in mind, what the composer actually wants to project on us. But it helps when you start to verbalize those feelings, when you have an image that you can see, that you have in front of you. All of that helps to deepen this feeling, these layers of emotion that's so unique for music. If you like this, we have other videos like that. There is a whole playlist of Beyond the Notes. It will pop up here on screen. And if you would like to support this channel and become part of a wonderful community, we have a Patreon page, link in the description box, where we meet, where we have updates on the project that we're doing, podcasts, we have practicing sessions, we have concerts, there's a lot of stuff. Check it out. For now, thanks for watching. We see each other soon again. Bye.